So what's happening, YouTube? Welcome to ITSJONJONTV. And on today's episode, we're going to be getting right back into NBA TV's The Dream Team documentary. So far, so good on the series. Y'all been showing a lot of love. Kind of had a little bit of a debate going on in part one, but hey, we are back with the reaction. And if you haven't seen part two, I'm gonna go ahead and put it at the top right of the screen. And by the time this video comes out, or this part comes out, I plan on having this all be in one playlist. As long as you guys are enjoying it, it justifies me coming back and doing this documentary. So not gonna waste too much more of your time. Go ahead, like, comment, and sub. Let me know down below what you want me to get into next, because like I stated in the last part, this is the grand finale. We wrapping this thing up today by any means necessary. But anyway, let's go ahead and get into the video. All right, let's go.
Monte Carlo was kind of a turning point. Walls started to come down from, you know, when you're playing against each other, you have these rivalries. These are my teammates now. They're guys that, you know, that I'm looking towards for support. It seemed like we became more friends than anything else.
The players were off to Barcelona, headed to the Olympics, unmistakably as a team. The United States men's basketball team landed in Barcelona for the Olympics on July 24th, 1992. In store was an experience unlike anything they or the sports world had ever seen.
The plane landing in Barcelona, helicopters flying over it.
We're thinking, wow, what is all the commotion? What happened? And then we figured out they were there for us.
That was the first time that we realized how popular and how enormous this thing was. I was like, guys, if we lose, it's gonna be like the biggest upset in sports history.
Barkley was right. There was no margin for error, a reality the rest of the team openly accepted in their first press conference in Spain.
I know I'm really afraid to fail because I can't go back home if we don't win the gold. Even though I'm from a little small place in Summerfield, those 250 people there said, I can't come back.
Barkley, meanwhile, handled an endless barrage of questions as only he could.
How did you feel in 1972 when the Soviet Union beat the United States in that wild game?
Well, I had just flunked my entrance exam into kindergarten, so that was the only thing.
You know, everybody that has ever been in front of a camera, we tend to not say certain things.
Why don't they just take their ass whooping like people and go home?
Barkley says things that we would think about and never say.
We're gonna have a little revenge in our hearts for 72 and 88. David, he can't say that because he's a Christian, but
He said, man, you don't talk honestly enough to the media. You need to tell them what you're really thinking. I said, Charles, you talk too much to the media. You need to stop telling them everything you're thinking.
And when Charles was asked about the team's first opponent, his prediction was as honest as...
Hey, man, it's kind of funny, man, like looking back at these interviews and press conferences that Charles Barkley did, and just his character, man, like he hasn't changed one bit. Like his whole life, this dude lived off of, I'm going to speak my mind and say whatever I want to say. Take it or leave it, like it or love it. I'm gonna be me. So, man, it's kind of, it's impressive to like see, like even back in 1992 compared to, I mean, now we're talking, you know, 32 years later. Wow, time flies, but he's still the same person, man. It's crazy, man. It's funny, man. So, anyway, shout out to Charles Barkley, dropping the bomb. But anyway, let's go ahead and get back into it.
as ever.
I don't know anything about Angola, but Angola's in trouble, I think.
Just moments ago, the Dream Team boarded the bus outside their hotel along the Ramblas. They're heading for their first matchup in Barcelona with the Angolans.
I can remember the first game, the real game, when we came out of the locker room and stepped on the court. And I finally said to myself I can't believe this, I'm here.
At that point, we were in serious Olympic mode.
This actually may be the biggest mismatch of the entire Olympics.
Barkley off a beautiful feed from Mullen, and he drew the foul. Magic right. The U.S. with a 46-1 run. 46-1.
It was just a tremendous atmosphere because there was an appreciation for how great the U.S. players were.
After the first half...
Whoa, hold on, look at this. Dude, 64-16. That's an embarrassment, bro. I'm not gonna lie to you, dude. I mean, they're supposed to win by that type of margin, but I mean, dude, it's crazy to actually like see it for yourself, like the score, the margin. Like, wow. It's impressive, not gonna lie.
Barkley's pregame prediction appeared dead on. But in the second, Charles found some trouble.
I had players in Angola who play against South Barkley. They told us there's no a kid, a fat boy, is many aggressive in the paint.
Rebound Barkley. Rebound Barkley. And he's fouled and shoves David Diaz. Well, Charles getting a bit aggressive.
I thought they were playing dirty. And I told old boy, I don't even know if he understood. I said, hey, man, ease up on the elbows.
Yeah.
Barkley from Pippen.
I let it go twice.
You can see the frustration with Barkley.
And the next time, I just cracked him.
Barkley from Pippen. And a technical foul has been called on Barkley.
To his dying day, Charles claims the guy elbowed him 3 times. I said, Charles, you know, you're full of crap.
No, it's not true. I didn't have Barkley before the incident.
People always say, turn the other cheek. If you turn the other cheek, I'm gonna hit you another cheek too.
I thought, what are you doing?
Hey, man, like, if you checked out all my other stuff so far, man, starting with a courtship of rivals to this series right here, you already know where I stand on this. It's competition. We are at war between those sidelines, man. We're at war. I'm not mad at that. I'm not upset one bit. I'm just saying, man. I'm not condoning any type of violence, okay? I'm not condoning elbows being thrown, but I'm with Charles here. Even if it was a little bit of a tap with the elbow, he got elbowed in his mind, all right? You got to do what you got to do to win. You got to do what you got to do to get the upper hand, all right? An edge on somebody. I'm not upset. Anyway, let's go ahead and get back to the video.
Do it, Charles. The guy is half your size, but you know Charles was an equal opportunity abuser.
Erlander Coimbra did not think it was a friendly elbow.
That's the same guy that just asked you for an autograph, Charles. I mean, you think he's not intimidated?
I think he's acting like a bullying, but maybe it's from his personality.
The United States has defeated Angola by the score of 116-48.
The game may have ended in a rout, but afterwards, the result was overshadowed by the controversy.
Wells with the elbow.
Well, he hit me, I hit him. That's the way it
is. Charles made you look like the ugly Americans, which we were trying not to do.
We said to Charles, look, man, you're a reflection of all of us. So if you do it, they're not going to write the article that Charles Barkley did. They're going to say the dream team.
Barkley had stained.
One band, one sound. I'm just saying, man. Hey, but with these guys here, I mean, for teammates, I get where they are coming from. Like, hey, man, we want our image to be clean. We don't want to come off as bullies, rebels. the same team that they pretty much dislike, the bad boy Pistons. We don't want to appear to be bad boys. I guess Chuck ain't get the message that's who he is, but, you know, I kind of get where they're coming from. But, man, you got to ride with your teammate, bro. You got to ride with your teammate to the bitter end, right or wrong. If he's wrong, hey, behind closed doors in private, Charles, you wrong. But, you know, years down the line, I mean, still, like, hey, I don't 100% condone what Charles did, but, hey, that's my teammate. I'm riding with my teammate. At least that's where I think the line should be. But hey, that's just my opinion, my humble opinion. So anyway, let's go ahead and get back into it, man.
The dream debut for the Americans. But in their next game against Croatia, Scottie Pippen and Michael Jordan grabbed the spotlight, with the focus on their matchup
Toni
with one of
Kukoć.
Europe's best players, Toni Kukoć.
Major storyline that carries into this game involves Toni Kukoć, second-round pick of the Chicago Bulls. Back in 1989, the Bulls made a strong push to sign him last season.
At that time, general managers in the league were trying to come up with gems, you know, make their discoveries overseas. And Krause thought this guy could play in the NBA.
While Jordan and Pippen had been winning back-to-back titles, Chicago GM Jerry Krause had been publicly wooing Kukoć to join the Bulls.
Krause was recruiting this guy and talking how great he was. You know, that's like a father who has all his kids and now he sees another kid that he loves more than he loves his own. So we were not playing against Toni Kukoć. We were playing against Jerry Krause in a Croatian uniform.
But unfortunately for the real Toni Kukoć, he was now the target of the world's two best defensive players.
They was debating who was going to guard him. No, I got it. No, I got it.
I'm looking at Michael and Scottie, and they're ready for, like, blood. Like, man.
We knew the world was going to be watching. We knew everyone wanted to see what Toni Kukoć was like, and we were going to give him the worst experience he ever had on the basketball court.
Pippen drew the initial assignment of shadow.
Hey, man, but I like that. I'm a fan of that. Like I said before, man, it's all about competition, man. When you in between those lines, you got to do what you got to do. All is fair in love and war. Just saying. So anyway, man, let's see how these guys make Toni Kukoć's life on the court very miserable. And I'm going to thoroughly enjoy it myself.
Experience he ever had on the basketball court.
Pippen drew the initial assignment of shadowing Kukoć and harassed the Croatian from the opening whistle.
It was hard to run across the half court without a ball. And with the ball, it was just, here, somebody else get it.
Toni definitely wasn't getting a shot up, and he wasn't going to score.
Kukoć is nothing for 4, and he's contributed nothing.
We wanted to go guard him on the bench.
Kukoć is called for the offensive foul, and the pressure continues.
And after Pippen wore Kukoć down, it was Jordan's turn.
Kukoć, stolen by Jordan. He reads it better than anyone. Slam dunk.
Them dudes were all over him.
Jordan rejecting Kukoć. Here's a 3-on-2. Pippen.
I had questions from my teammates during the game, like, what is going on? Do you not see that they're really trying to get you off the court? And I'm like, so what? I guess that's how NBA game is played.
Pippen, Jordan, and the Americans cruised to another victory. This one by 38 points. But the domination had its detractors.
This team of All-Stars is almost too...
Bro, it's funny, man. Like, hey, in the Last Dance documentary, I'm 110% not doing that on the channel because I know I'm not making a cent off of that. But, you know, for anybody that's seen the Last Dance documentary or parts of it, Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, they were not fans of Jerry Krause. I don't 100% know why, but that's why they pretty much gave all they had to go against Toni Kukoć because that was Jerry Krause's prize pick. And Jerry Krause believed in Toni Kukoć. He probably bragged about him and saying, man, this dude's legit. Which, to Jerry Krause's offense, he was right. Toni Kukoć in Europe, one of the greatest international players in history. He's a Hall of Famer. He actually had a productive NBA career. I believe he was Sixth Man of the Year. I know he had a couple of game winners in his career in Chicago. So he could actually play, but those guys, man, they actually took it as disrespect. And it's funny, man, just looking back at it, like how the man that is responsible for making your team successful have so much hate towards him from his two star players. And that's a crazy dynamic, man. So anyway, let's go ahead and get back into it.
The nation had its detractors.
This team of All-Stars is almost too good. Is it a positive or a negative?
The question was now being asked, was the Dream Team too great for its own good?
This team of All-Stars is almost too good. Some think that we should go back to the collegians. It's been too easy.
I think then we ought to ban the African runners from the 10,000 meters because they make it look so easy as well. This is about our best, and this is wonderful for the sport of basketball.
Or the Jamaicans from the sprint. I mean, hey, some people just dominate, man. You're going to hate it, but hey, some people just dominate certain sports, okay? So it's not a bad thing. If you want somebody new to take over that position, to take over that number one spot, be better. Just do better, man. Hey, that's life.
Irvin, there's been some comments that the Dream Team...
Wonderful for the sport of basketball.
Irvin, there's been some comments that the Dream Team is getting all the attention and there seems to be some resentment about it. Have you heard about it and do you have any feelings about it?
Basically, you know, we haven't heard about it. We're just here to do our job.
The media may have been looking for signs of a backlash, but in Barcelona and in the world beyond, the embrace of the Dream Team was universal.
You're gonna stand out and root against Picasso? I mean, seriously. They rooted for genius at work.
I kept thinking that the attention would dissipate. They're gonna play the first game. They're gonna win by 60. People are gonna go back and watch track.
Jordan in transition with a slam to give Team USA a 60-point lead.
It didn't. It kept building and building and building.
The U.S. with another trouncing, 127-83, 127 points.
Workers were trying to get autographs. The security people were trying to get autographs. All the athletes were standing on side like a parade.
What a ball fake by Scottie Pippen. It is a 58-point lead.
People perceived us as being superheroes.
This was a blowout on the U.S. men's Olympic team.
The guy on the bench is taking pictures. And I said, wow, we are having an effect over here.
Another easy victory in this, their fifth game of the Olympics.
It was as if the President of the United States was in the midst of a caravan that was going through the streets.
Let me ask y'all this, man, and I'm going to try my best to limit pausing for the remainder of the video because it looks like we have 16 minutes left. But if Michael Jordan decided not to participate in this year's Olympics in 1992, do you think the Dream Team would have had this much attention? I know you still had Magic, you still had Larry. Those two at that time were icons. They are responsible for basketball as it is today, still being alive. But Michael Jordan, he was just starting to take over the league at that point. So let me know down in the comments what you think. Would the Dream Team had this much traction without Michael Jordan on the roster? Interesting to see what y'all think about that. So anyways, go ahead and get back into it.
It was like the Beatles, where there's thousands and thousands of people waiting all the time.
That was the most exhilarating 15 seconds of my life.
We're like, wow, this is amazing.
No one member of the Dream Team reveled in the Olympic experience more than Charles Barkley. After throwing the controversial elbow against Angola, Barkley had emerged as the team's most visible player.
Everybody always had the same question. How much of an ass is Charles Barkley?
Hey, Jack, when am I going to be on the cover of Sports Illustrated for this stuff? I should be on the Dream Team cover.
And then every time you'd go spend time with him, you'd just realize that he was the most enjoyable act, not only in all of sports, but possibly in all of pop culture.
Sometimes I dream, me. I just want to be like Mike.
Right away, I told my editors, I said, well, the number one angle here is what is Charles doing?
And if you wanted the answer to that question, all you had to do was follow the crowds.
They're like, we don't want you guys out and about because we don't know how safe it is. And I'm like, dude, I'm at the Olympics. I'm not gonna stay in my room the whole time.
So Barkley strolled Los Ramblas, a man of the people if ever there was one.
Man, I walked up and down the Ramblas every night, and the people were fantastic. They all wanted autographs and wanted to take pictures.
We could be inside the hotel. Soon we heard the big roar. We said, there go Charles. So Charles would be walking, and then thousands would be following him everywhere he went, He was the Pied Piper.
Charles would go over to the village and find the Angolan players and hang out along the Ramblas at night. He was the most memorable person of the 1992 Olympics.
I just saw this touch he had. I don't think anybody else in the world could have done it beside Charles Barkley. At the end of the day, he was America's best ambassador.
Barkley was celebrated for experiencing the Olympics on his own terms. More quietly, one of his teammates found a way to do the same.
We had the motorcycle escorts and we bust through traffic like Dick Tracy. But this one day we got stuck in traffic and we're just sitting there and sitting there and sitting there. Finally I said, that's it. Let's go. Anybody wants to go with me, I'm heading.
He'd get off the bus and his family met him. He started walking right through the middle of everybody and nobody noticed him. I'm still on the bus, seeing him walk down the street, and I'm saying to myself, I would give anything to do what he just did.
See, guys, this is called the rhombus. See all the footprints? All right.
So Los Ramblas, it's like Times Square or something. There's just so many people walking. I'm 6'1". I'm about the average size of everybody else on that little walk. So I'm walking with my family and I have the camera and nobody's noticing.
You think it's the sunglasses that's fooling them? Must be. Hi, you from America?
Yeah.
Whereabouts? Whereabouts?
Massachusetts.
Massachusetts. You been watching the Dream Team at all?
Yeah, I watch them.
They're pretty good, aren't they? Yeah.
No attention whatsoever. Finally, we ran across this lady who had the Dream Team and all the pictures on her T-shirt.
Hi.
Hi.
Are you an American?
But of course.
You look wonderful.
Why, thank you.
She started speaking real excitedly about each of the players. And I said, have you had a chance to meet anyone?
Of course. We met Charles Barkley the other night.
Did ya? He's a hell of a player. See, you got all the players right there on your shirt. Is Charles the only one you've ever seen?
The only ones I've ever met.
Hey, guys, do you know any of those guys on there?
I think my oldest son, Houston, ruined the surprise.
That's my dad. Your dad?
That's your dad? Too bad he's not here.
You play on a team?
I do, yeah.
Who is that guy?
I can't go anywhere without being bugged. Really not much different from Michael Jordan walking through here.
For the
Wow, man, that's crazy. First of all, shout out to John Stockton. Shout out to John Stockton, man. It's wow. Just the fact that, man, nobody really noticed him, and he had freedom that not many players was able to have, but he still was able to go through the experience. So he kind of got the best of both worlds. But what's crazy, I was actually looking at statistics just the other night because I'm actually working on a video. But I noticed that Christian Laettner actually averaged just as much minutes as John Stockton per game. And I think he played in just, 4 games. man, he didn't really have a lot of burn on that team. And I don't know why. Maybe because, I mean, you got Magic. You know, why give John Stockton a lot of burn? But, you know, it's amazing, man, to be able to reach that level of fame and still have the freedom that he had to just hop off the bus and just walk the streets of Barcelona and just nobody bothered him. And he was able to enjoy time with his family, man. It's wow. But anyway, let's go ahead and get back into it.
Players, surreal experiences had become the norm. But even more memorable were the unlikely friendships developing behind the curtain.
It was a unique mix. You know, Larry Bird and Patrick Ewing became like best friends. I got a white guy from Indiana, and I got a brother from Jamaica.
Patrick said I could pick his mind. It took me 3 minutes. Now he gets a chance to come back and start picking on mine.
Took me one. We were probably the two of the most unlikely people you thought that would be friends. But if you look, not only Larry and I got to be great friends, but all of those guys got to be much better friends.
We all enjoyed each other. We all enjoyed the ride. And we got a sense of each other as men. Then, when we got to the court, it made it even better.
The Dream Team's chemistry turned out to be the hallmark of their success, as the players closed in on what they came for.
Barkley now over the side leading cheers.
Their big margins of victory may have been a testament to their dominance, but numbers couldn't capture what made watching them so unforgettable.
Guys played the best basketball you've ever seen in your life. They was literally like great poetry or great art.
At times you feel you're watching a performance, a concert, rather than a basketball competition.
Like the Globetrotters.
Fun. This was like, it's how basketball's supposed to be.
And at the center of the fun was the team's biggest star, who had come to Barcelona at the peak of his powers and shown how much his popularity had exploded.
I will say this one thing about Michael Jordan. I've been around other celebrities in my life. I've never seen people react like they do to him. People go crazy when they see him.
In every corner of the world, there was someone who just wanted to see him.
Please, Michael Jordan!
No one had the sort of pull, the gravity that Michael Jordan had.
Jordan had initially come to Barcelona reluctantly, but an early morning trip just before the gold medal game revealed how meaningful his Olympic experience had become.
What time in the morning is it right now?
6:30, 6:45, 7, something like that. And I'm drinking coffee, so it's gotta be early. Can we go now? Where you from?
Albuquerque?
Albuquerque, New Mexico.
Big fan of yours. Everyone's a big fan of yours.
Your name? George Hirsch. George, how you doing? Michael George, nice to meet you. Last night I hit my wall, man.
Did you?
I couldn't make a basket.
What are you doing up so early?
I do remember getting up early to walk into the stadium.
That is the thing that I remember the most about the Olympics.
Olympic Stadium. Imagine all the athletes that's been here before us. It's amazing. What about Edwin Moses? Won 122 consecutive races.
Man.
I think everybody's got something to cherish. I think this is something that my kids are gonna love one day.
Listen, man, for all you people, I know I got a lot of people that join my channel whenever I started posting Larry Bird content, man. I need you to tell me down in the comments below. Because a lot of you believe that Larry Bird is the GOAT. You have your right to believe in that opinion. It may be justified. But you cannot tell me, and you cannot prove to me with numbers and stats that Michael Jordan is not the greatest player to ever play. And that's with LeBron being the all-time leader in scoring and many other statistics. You heard it here. Nobody had the pull that Jordan has. All right. To this day. Nobody affected basketball on a global level, made things more memorable like Michael Jordan. I'm just saying, I could debate this all day long. And like I said, hey, I may lose some subs. I may have some dislikes. I may have some people that, you know, be emotional in the comments and say, oh, you're wrong. And hey, that's my opinion. Okay. Hate it or love it. That's my belief. And I'm a Kobe Bryant fan to the fullest. But Mike, I don't see anybody else coming in and doing things the way Mike did it and having the type of impact that he had. I don't see it. I'm sorry. But anyway, let's go ahead and get back to the video.
My kids are going to love one day.
The Dream Team squared off against Croatia again in the gold medal game, offering the world one more lasting impression of their supremacy.
Barkley with the lead for Mullen. Behind the back, Drexler.
Team USA came to send a message tonight.
We wanted to win and we wanted to dominate, but how we did it, sharing the ball, including everybody. We did it as a true team.
The U.S. has defeated Croatia 117-85, and they have won the gold here in Barcelona.
Campeón olímpico y medalla de oro, el equipo de los Estados Unidos de América.
There was never really any doubt the Dream Team would win gold in 1992. But as they walked back onto the court to get their medals, the moment still overwhelmed them.
You saw a lot of cheers from players. It was a very proud moment for me because anytime you represent your country, you know, that's a prideful thing.
Man, sent chills down my spine. It was a reward that I had never felt like that I would ever achieve. To do it on that stage with those group of guys, it's a memory I'll never forget.
Nothing in my life has ever felt like standing on that podium. I was getting goosebumps.
Every single time I heard the national anthem after that had a different significance to me. I knew what it really meant, you know.
As a young kid growing up, I used to watch Olympics on TV with my father, and all he talked about was the Star-Spangled Banner and the gold medal. It made him feel proud to be American. Being up on that podium that night and receiving it, my father, he'd been pretty proud.
All those emotions just overcame me. I got to be one of the guys one more time for my country. I said, man, I'll never forget this moment. You know, if this is the end, this is how I wanted to go out.
This group may well be the greatest team ever assembled in the history of team sports.
But when the medal ceremony was over, another realization began to settle in.
When I walked off, I remember thinking that whole dream has come to an end.
The next season, every Olympian except Magic Johnson and Larry Bird would return to the NBA. Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen would win their third title against Charles Barkley and the Phoenix Suns. On the way to 6 championships overall, the last 3 with Toni Kukoć. Eventually, other members of the team would also win titles. But each NBA player on the Dream Team would reach the Hall of Fame.
So the only ones that won titles other than Mike and Scotty, was David Robinson, Clyde Drexler. Yeah, that sounds about right. Wow. But 92 is just smashing 2008 redeemed. I don't know. Hey, don't come for me in the comments. Just saying. Well, I don't know. Let's go ahead and get back into it.
But each NBA player on the Dream Team would reach the Hall of Fame. Still, it's...
I say, let's look at this just to make sure I ain't missing nothing, all right? Champ. These two won championships. Champion. But they're just so much better than the 2008 Redeem Team. They are just so much, just night and day. The 2018 just can't light a candle to these guys. Oh. We got a couple of minutes, man. I'm going to go ahead and let it roll, man. I just had to prove a point, all right? Let's get into it.
It's what they did together that would reach the Hall of Fame. Still, it's what they did together that summer that had the biggest impact on the game. An impact that continues to grow today.
It really lifted basketball, and it gave birth to international stars who had nothing to do with those games in '92, but who took so much from it.
We made the game a worldwide game. You know, I talked to Tony Parker, I talked to Ginobili, I talked to Dirk Nowitzki. Those guys say their first love of basketball started with the Dream Team, and I'm really proud of that.
The world can change a lot in 20 years. But there are moments in time you never forget, no matter how long it's been. No matter how much else has changed in your life since. 20 years later, they've all kept ties to the game in one way or another. And they all talk about the summer of '92 as if it happened just yesterday. An experience still unlike any other in their remarkable basketball lives.
I've never had more fun being around anybody. Everybody got along, there was no ego, we had fun. You know, clearly everybody reminds me I never won a championship. So that to me was like winning the championship, winning the gold medal and hanging out with these guys.
The reward itself is really only a small part of the story. It's what the gold medal represents that will always tie these men together.
This is like, this fraternity, that's pretty awesome.
I don't think you're ever going to be able to get 11 Hall of Famers to play all at once, you know, on one team. That's unheard of.
Ha! We go on the bus. We come back. Ah! Walk out the hotel. Ah! Wave. Ah! Wave outside your window. Ah! I can't believe it. That's so magical. I just saw my God.
It changed sport as we know it. They showed the world how to play basketball. What other team can say that? I don't think we'll ever see anything like it again. It's an insult to compare anybody else to that team.
Take a good look. Perhaps we'll never see a team this great again.
No team will ever have that happen. Hasn't had that happen. And that's the Dream Team.
All right, RIP to Chuck Daly. What we got here?
'92 gold medalist, Olympics. USA basketball dream team, original, NBA. Hey, give me something.
Somerville. All right. So let's go ahead and wrap up this video. So appreciate you watching. Great recommendation. I told y'all we was gonna try to get this video done, this part, so we didn't prolong it, and we got it done. What are my takeaways? Please watch it in, by the way, but what are my takeaways? This 92 team was great. It was fantastic. Arguably the best team ever assembled. But, and you know me, I'm born in 95. I wasn't alive to witness this, but I did witness the 2008 Redeem team. And I can make a valid argument. So, hey, if you want to see me try, all right, if you want to hear me out, okay, I'm more than willing to do a video and put it together and prove a point on why the 2008 Redeem team needs to be respected and that they could potentially beat this team. I'm just saying, I'm not trolling, okay? Some people are going to be emotional with this take, but out of 252 votes, I am within the 2%, okay, that believes that that team, 2008 Redeem team, could really make it a competitive game against a dream team. But anyway, appreciate you watching. Let me know down in the comments below what else you want to see me react to, okay? What else you want to see my brother react to? I will have my brother back on the channel. I know some of y'all been wondering where he's been. He's a busy man. You know, he got a lot of stuff going on. He's also doing his own thing. He's a Twitch stream and all that stuff. I'm going to have him back. But anyway, let me know what you want to see because we're done with this series. It's a wrap. Appreciate you watching. Check out one of these other videos. Love you. Peace.